Hello, Miami. This is 205 Sports Now, your home podcast and channel for all things Miami sports related. I am Will, and today the Miami Hurricanes actually was a pretty interesting 48 hours for the University of Miami and its fan base and its players, because there was a rumor that had leaked out about 48 hours ago that a certain player, a very popular, high caliber certain player, was contemplating, entering the transfer portal, and they were saying that the university was in a bit of a panic, all right, trying to keep this individual, trying to keep this kid. Lo and behold, it happened to be Tyler Van Dyke, all right? Tyler Van Dyke, according to several reports, from very credible sources, were being told that the University of Alabama was pursuing him to get into the transfer portal and become a member of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Okay, so I'm going to go over a little bit of what I think about that situation, but I'm going to go over exactly what transpired. So Tyler Van Dyke, if we all know, he is probably going to be the starting quarterback this year. Actually, he is going to be the starting quarterback this year. He is guaranteed to be QB1. In 2021, he had a really good season, okay? In 10 games played, he had, almost 3,000 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. I believe it was in 6 straight games where he had over 300 yards passing. So the sky was the limit for TVD, all right? TVD was going to be seen, as the following year to be, a Heisman Trophy candidate and possibly enter the NFL draft, because he has, the frame of a NFL prototypical quarterback, pocket passer, and he's got a really good arm, and the accuracy is pretty good. The only thing that I've wondered about TVD is that he throws the football like a pitcher, so I thought they want to work with him on that in the NFL. But nonetheless, he doesn't have a good season. He plays about 9 games, has 10 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. It doesn't go very well for Tyler Van Dyke. He gets hurt. And basically, you have a coaching overhaul, and you have Shannon Dawson come in. He's taken first team reps, with the team. He did pretty well, I would say, in the spring game. So this was a huge surprise to a lot of people. So many people were saying that it was an NIL issue, all right, that Tyler Van Dyke wanted more money. Now, we're not in those rooms. We don't know exactly what's going on, and I don't know for sure if that was the case. That's been sort of debunked, but we do know that Drew Rosenhaus represents him, because with NIL, they do have some agents. So even though technically in college football you can't have an agent, but not because of the NIL rules, the agents kind of manage the money. I don't know. It's a weird structure. So if anybody wants to comment and give more detail about that down in the comment section, feel free. All right, I want to know. All right, I'm open to listening. So that's just a little bit about that situation. So it was felt that it was going to be NIL issues and that he was going to go to Alabama. Now, the way people are making sense about him going to Alabama is that Alabama has, 2 very good quarterbacks, one 5-star and one 4-star, but very little experience, and that Tyler Van Dyke would serve as that quarterback to basically help mold those 2 quarterbacks. I believe they're sophomores, one freshman, one sophomore, or 2 sophomores, whatever the case would be, into becoming really good quarterbacks. So he'd be like that guy, possibly win a national championship, because Alabama's always loaded, go off to the NFL, and then Alabama wouldn't miss a beat, because Bryce Young is going to the NFL. So that's pretty much what was speculated about why TVD would end up going to Alabama. But today it was stated, all right. Today was stated. It was released by everyone, by the Miami Hurricanes. TVD, he is staying, all right. TVD is staying as a Miami Hurricane. He's going to be the quarterback this season. He's probably going to go to the NFL if he does really well, after the season's over, after the bowl game, hopefully, etc. So we have, Tyler Van Dyke, he's staying. It's official. We could take a breath now, so we do have a QB1. So there's a lot of things that I heard online, in regards to the fan base and how they felt. Some people on YouTube said that he should just go. If he's even thinking about going, what is that to say that he quit on his team, and whatnot? And other people saying, well, he should stay. It makes more sense. And I'll tell you where I fall into. I'll be very honest with you. I'm not someone that criticizes kids, all right, online. I don't mess with college athletes, is pretty much what I'm trying to say. But in the case of money changing hands, if TVD would have gone to Alabama, I would have been very critical. And the reason why I say that is because of the way things are done. I know coaches come and go, and I know we have a new era of college football, but there has to be a certain decorum, that that people need to understand and follow about integrity and stuff like that. And I just think that he was taking first team reps with the team. He was the starting quarterback of the spring game. He's developed a relationship with all the receivers, all skill position players. He has an amazing bond, as far as throwing the football to Xavier Restrepo. I think that he would literally be abandoning his teammates if he went off to Alabama at this juncture. And on the other side, I don't think football wise that makes sense. If he goes in, I heard, I think it was Bluestein, Larry Bluestein say that on the other end, if he was to go to Alabama, it could lead to some resentment because these quarterbacks, the ones that are already on the roster at Bama, would have wanted an opportunity, to be the starting quarterback. Instead, he comes in as a transfer and takes their jobs when they actually were more highly recruited, much more highly recruited than Tyler Van Dyke was when he was being recruited by the University of Miami. So that would happen. On top of that, to me, it would make no sense, because although the OC of Alabama showed interest in TVD when he was at Notre Dame, honestly speaking, Tyler Van Dyke has been learning playbook after playbook after playbook the last few seasons, from Dan Enos, to Rhett Lashley, then to, Josh Gaddis, and now over to Shannon Dawson. So it is, me, doesn't make any sense, to go over after spring as a quarterback. Could be different for some players, you're right, because, for a skill position player, you just learn your routes and stuff like that. But knowing, basically knowing the defenses you're taking on, the routes, when to call audibles, all those things in particular, a quarterback has got to know. And for me, a quarterback after spring to enter the transfer portal after getting first team reps is just not a very good move. And I know that Drew Rosenhaus, who's his agent, very famous agent, we all know who he is. He represents a ton of Miami Dolphins, including Terrell Owens, and other people that are not Miami Dolphins as well. At some point, you gotta do what's best for your client and tell your client, listen, maybe you should stay here, and we'll recoup the money somewhere else. So that's pretty much where I would have been at. I think that TVD made the right decision. I think it makes more football sense, to stay with the Canes. The Canes are still, despite having a rough decade or two, in particular, the Canes are still a national brand. Miami Hurricane players, in many cases, still get drafted, still get looked at, still get scouted, still end up in many cases on football teams. So I think that if Tyler Van Dyke has a very solid year, he could go in the first round. And if he goes in the first round, he'll make the money he would have made if he would have gone to another school and had to learn a new system, and it may not even work. All right, and let's say he would have gone to Alabama, does win a national championship, it would have been hard on him because he's not from there. He wasn't recruited by Bama early on. He took someone's spot, so who knows? We don't know exactly what happened, but I think TVD made the right decision for his future. I think he made the right decision for himself and his teammates. And I do think that the Canes will be better this year with Tyler Van Dyke as their quarterback, because I'm sorry to say this, Ja'Cory Brown is not ready. All right. And you can't do that to Emory Williams as a true freshman. But I do still believe Miami should try to get another quarterback, in the transfer portal in case something does happen to TVD or Ja'Cory. We saw what happened last year. So God forbid it doesn't happen again, and TVD could play all 12 games and play the bowl game if he chooses to, and then proceed to his next journey in life. Okay. So once again, it's all over. The drama's done. All right. We're happy to hear that. We're happy to TVD staying. Again, I tell my Canes fans out there, once we start winning, this is all, well, we're so angry at him. When we start winning, it is all going to be over. So let's just be happy he's staying. And the Miami Hurricanes, honestly speaking, are a much better football team with Tyler Van Dyke as the QB1, right? As the starting quarterback. All right. That's just what a little bit I have to say. Trying to be a little bit of a pragmatist here. All right, buddy. I hope you like what you heard. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to 305 Sports Now. Once again, I am Will. Stay safe. God bless. See you soon. And go Canes. Bye-bye.